Hey everybody out there, this is Seto. So today for you guys, we are going to be talking and discussing about buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many times throughout the years, guys, I've had people message me, "Can I buy your deck?" And I'm like, "Why? You can just buy the cards online." "Well, I don't know where to buy them." I'm like, "Have you heard of a site called TCG Player?" "No." "Well, let me show you. Crazy prices, but if you buy the right cards at the right time, you'll get good deals." So this video is not sponsored. I'm going to be that. I'm probably the one Yu-Gi tuber that doesn't have a sponsor. But I would love TCG Player to sponsor me. That would be an awesome thing, actually. But beside the point of this video, buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So let's recap. So if you guys have not seen this, or this is your first time viewing this video, this is a series that talks about building a deck. There's 3 types of decks out there we've talked about in this series. Your meta deck, your fun deck, which is tier 2 decks, and your meme decks. Those decks you just gotta build Moki Moki Beatdown, right? Woot woot. So yeah, that's what this video is pretty much about, guys. It's talking about deck building, building the different types of deck. It's just a general synopsis on deck building and the different steps you can take. So we've already done 3 parts already. We talked about how I like to build, just a generic video. Part 1 was researching. Part 2 was deck testing online. And this part is talking about purchasing your cards so you can actually use your money wisely, or get the most bang for your buck, so to speak. So there's 2 different things. There's one thing I have to address before we get any depth into this video is what budget do you have to work with these cards, right? That you're going to buy to build this deck. Are you have a full-time job? You're not, you have the money. Like, I have known Yu-Gi-Oh players that would rather buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards than pay for their rent. And I'm like, dude, priorities, my man. Priorities. Don't spend your entire money on Starlight Rail effect failures because you gotta have it and you're not gonna eat for the rest of the month. It's not a good thing, and there are players out there that have done that. So my question before I start this video is, what's your budget? Break it down. Is your budget $100? All right, because in this case, if say for the entire month you're gonna be putting maybe 150 down, right? And your deck cost maybe 250, right? Well, it may take 2 months to build this deck because you slowly got to build it, especially if it's a meta deck, and especially if you want the high-end versions of the cards, right? So this may be a process where it's not just buy everything online. So you could A, buy them piecemeal, or A, just wait until you have the money and then buy them in bulk and just buy everything right there and then and there. So there's 2 different ways of buying there. So I want to address that before I even get into the video, which is something I don't think any Yu-Gi-Oh player ever addresses. What's your budget when you deck build? They're just like, well, you have to have $100 or $200 and just deck build. What's your budget? Because there's 2 ways you can go about it to build a deck. You buy it piecemeal, or you save up your money and you buy it in bulk. But stay within your budget. If you can't afford the expensive version of cards, there are cheaper versions most of the time, especially with most staples out there nowadays, right? You don't have to buy old school card that's $80, $20 because somebody decided to buy it out one day. You can buy the cheaper versions. They do the same thing. The only difference is one is shinier than the other. Woo! Like, for me, I have a budget that I stick to each month for deck building and for Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, I have a full-time job and I have a little bit of income that comes in from YouTube. Pretty much, I don't make anything off these videos. The money I make goes back into Yu-Gi-Oh! It's the revolving circle. I pay for my hobby. 25% of it. 25 to 50, I would say, 40 maybe. It's gotten better over the years, but you know what I'm trying to say here, right? So, where should you buy these cards? This video is going to be a little bit longer, I think. Well, there's different places to buy. TCG Player, everybody knows that. There's also eBay, and there's Amazon, which people go, Amazon? Ew, the prices are always jacked up. We're going to discuss that in a second. So, if these are cards that have been out for a while, right? It's not a new set you're trying to build, an archetype out of. It's fine to, use TCG Player. If this is a new set that's coming out, maybe it's like a new set that just recently came out. Like, say one of these sets I have over here recently came out. Then in that case, there are other sites out there that have a little bit better prices. But never buy pre-sale prices, all right? Never ever do that, please. Please. It's never worked out for anybody. There's very few cards that go up in price after the set release. There's one of the instances that this has happened, and this was a fluke to some degree because people just thought they were going to be Noble Knights 2.0, is when Burning Abyss came out. And Dante, when it came out initially, I think was $15 to $20, and then it shot up to $40 very quickly because, oh, guess what? Burning Abyss are not Noble Knights or OG Noble Knights. They're good. So, it does happen. It does happen, but not all the time. Usually prices go down, and then you have to remember there's a special edition that comes out within a month after the main release. So prices usually go down, and then they maybe go back up a little bit, and then they go back down again when the special edition comes out, and then they go back up until a reprint happens. It's basic economics most of the time. So that's what I'm going to say. Like, if you're buying, maybe you're trying to build a deck like, let's say OG, Gladiator Beast or Gravekeepers. Let's use Gravekeepers, I think, is a great example. Well, Gravekeepers have been out for a while. They had new support, but that's pretty old by now. So I would suggest in that instance you go to TCG Player, right? Because they will have all the cards. There'll be different rarities of the cards, and you can buy what you want. Now, are you going to buy Ulti Necro Valleys, or maybe just the supers, or just a different variation, right? That's not as expensive. Maybe you want to do that. Like I said earlier, stay within your budget. That's key. So that's what I'm trying to say here. I think for older school decks that have been around for a while, and even if it's like a couple months after the sets come out, then TCG Player is a great thing. eBay is also good because sometimes there have been decks that I'm trying to build, and randomly somebody decides to buy out the card. And I'm like, really, dudes? You trying to buy out this card when I'm trying to build this deck for fun? Like, it happens. So eBay in that instance is somewhere to go to. Definitely check your prices when you're buying cards. Sometimes, especially if you're trying to build a meta deck or a tier 2 deck especially, you gotta go check eBay because sometimes they'll have better deals, and sometimes you'll find better deals for things that are higher on TCG Player but cheaper on eBay. There's been times where I'll be like, oh, I really wish I could have the Ulti version of this card. And I look at TCG Player and some people have randomly brought it out. And I'm like, ooh, that's too expensive. And now I'll go to eBay and I'm like, oh, it's $15 less. I'll buy it. Like, you see what I mean. So check your prices, especially if you're building a meta deck or a tier 2 deck. Usually meme fun decks is TCG Player all the way. Like, it's pretty much like you have all your commons and everything. You can pretty much buy off the site. For Amazon, like I said earlier, I've gotten good deals off Amazon sometimes. And I'm going to say there have been times when cards get brought out, and I'll go to Amazon in the middle of a buyout, and people haven't hit it up. And I'll buy the cards, and I'll get them delivered to me. I'll receive them, and I got them for maybe $25, $30, $40 from what the height price was. Dragon Maids is a good recent example. When Kitchen Maid started shooting up, I was trying to build a deck. I needed one more Kitchen Maid. Everywhere's going for 40 to 45. At the time, I went to Amazon, and I purchased one for $28. So you see where I'm going with this, right? With shipping, by the way, $28 with shipping, which was good. So yeah, you see what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you can get good steals on Amazon, but for the most part, don't use it as your main base because a lot of the times, I will say, the cards are super expensive on there. You can just go on TCG Play and buy them for cheap. But sometimes you get a good deal. There's been times in Yu-Gi-Oh's past this has happened for me. Love Ava Chain, Honor Arc 101 back when it was super expensive. They were going for like $35 to $50 at one point, and I brought one for $20 for an ulti rare first ed. At the peak of this being an expensive card, so Lovala Chain, it was like a $60 card at one point. I got it for $28 off the site. Like, you can get good deals from Amazon, but it's the times you're going to get the best deals of it is when there's a buyout going out. But nowadays, there's more players in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, so you have to be on your A game when it comes to buying in the middle of a buyout. So sometimes if you know the card's going to get reprinted, say you're trying to build a deck and a card's being brought out, or it's super expensive, check to see if it's having a reprint coming out soon, or if there's going to be a reprint time within the next couple of months. You may just want to wait to continue building that deck because you don't want to spend that money. It happens. Buyouts are a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays, more so than they were 3-4 years ago. And it's a pain, and I understand it, but at the same time, I just shake my head sometimes and like, wow, Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, because usually they go up and then they go back down. They won't go back down to what they were originally, but a reprint will happen and kill the price a lot of the times, it feels like. So I'm just like, okay, well, you just try to make a quick buck. Like, okay, like, nice investment, dude. You didn't even check eBay. So, saying all that, guys, there's definitely different sites. Like I said, if it's a newer set, there's definitely other sites out there you can buy, but do not buy pre-sale prices. Wait at least to the Saturday the set releases or the Friday night before the set releases. Please do not buy pre-sale. It is ridiculous. It's stupid. Yeah, I'm just being honest with you guys. So, saying all that, those are my tips for buying. We've talked about before, to recap, we've talked about researching, playtesting. You know what you're going to buy. The question pretty much with this video is, where are you going to buy it? Where are you going to purchase these cards for this deck, your construction? Next time, we're going to talk about deck building and testing in real life a little bit more. And then we'll eventually talk about getting ready for a tournament and everything of that nature. So, hope you all enjoyed this video today. Hopefully it was helpful, and maybe even if you didn't need this help on deck building, this taught you some things of where to buy some Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. So, till next time, guys, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. Hopefully it's very helpful to you. If it is, please leave a big thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time. Good luck dueling to all of you guys. I'm Seto Kaiba, and I am out of here.